Shalom, shalom. Greetings to you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, wherever you are. We thank God for this wonderful opportunity He has granted us today once again. We bless Him because of His love, His tender mercy, His care. And we know that today is again going to be a moment of experiencing His goodness and kindness to a higher level, or to experience it again and again and again. Did you know that God is eternal and what He offers is eternal? So we can have a consistent experience of what comes from Him. I found out that we people, they live in the world of temporal realities or things. Things keeps on changing. Things come and go. People come and go. Kingdoms come and go. So there's this conviction in men. Somehow unconsciously they believe everything is temporal, but not everything is temporal. And I'm talking about what comes from God is not temporal. So that is why you'll see man will have this for a few moments. For instance, if it is work, you work for a given period of time, and then here you visit, here you do this, here you rest, here you wake up, here you go there, you travel, you rest, a lot of things that people do, and those activities, they are temporal, if you want. Like you spend some time there, then from that event or program or activity, you go into another activity, and so on and so forth. But now, what people are used to, what they get used to as a result of that kind of experience, is that now they cannot focus on one thing for so long, because even the nature of activities in their own lives cannot allow them to be focused on one thing, and that's what happens to us. So we have a challenge that God offers. One thing is some things that are permanent. And then I'm going to give you an example. For instance, if you talk about the joy in this world, people will go somewhere, probably they will play, they will go out, they dance, or they jump, they will do whatever they feel, and they call it having fun. They feel like they have enjoyed themselves, but that lasts for, very short period of time, and then they will go back into their own state of being, and tomorrow they might not have enough time to do it again and again. So you see, even what is around men suggests temporal activities, things, and mindset and beliefs. Okay, but now God gives us, for instance, joy that is not dependent on any activity. That joy can be enjoyed now, whether you are working or when you're busy or you're not busy, whether you are working or not, whether you're a leader or lead or have this or having that, that it is independent. All right, this does not depend on any earthly circumstances. Then we fail to understand that is a possibility. So and even our communication is that it's impossible to walk in joy 24 hours 24/7. It's impossible. Why? Because people are already programmed in their minds that it's not possible to walk in that permanent joy, permanent peace, permanent righteousness, permanent union, permanent love, permanent. And because of that lack of conviction, people are not convinced of that permanent gift of God, whatever it is. So we carry on the temporal kind of mindset. In our minds, in our hearts, we perceive things that way, and even what is eternal now seems to be limited, yet it's not supposed to be limited at all compared to the nature of what we're dealing with. Now, brothers and sisters, I want you to remember God is eternal, love is eternal, power is eternal. Whatever that comes from God, don't think that you can lose it. That is how people believe that you can receive salvation and then lose it. Everything to them is temporal. You can have it for this period of time and then lose it the next. And in eternity, it doesn't work that way. In eternity, it doesn't work that way, because the nature of things do not come and go. They stay permanently. So it's so hard for a fallen man to gate the idea of eternity, All right, so we can have a great day, and tomorrow we'll have another great day, experience after experience, and that is a possibility from the eternal point of view. And that's so important, so powerful. Proverbs chapter 18 verse 19 says, do a favor and win a friend forever. Nothing can untie that bond. Words satisfy the mind as much as fruit does the stomach. We need food for our stomach. And when you eat food, the natural food, your stomach responds somehow positively. All right? Because when you are hungry, your stomach begin to do you things and begin to communicate that something is wrong. But when you have eaten certain fruit or food, your stomach tells you, well, now we feel good. But again, it's also temporal, And later you will just say, oh, we need something. So words satisfy the mind. Words do not satisfy the stomach. It satisfies the mind. So words satisfy the mind as much as food does the stomach. All right, so in other words, when you want to cure the problem of for hunger, you don't just speak words and then feel full of or satisfied. No, you eat, right? Now, but it's telling us that in the same way, words are also food for the mind. You get it now? If there is this natural food for the stomach, there's also food for the mind. So the mind needs food, and the stomach also needs food. So he says words satisfy the mind. But now here we're going to be specific. Which words? It goes on to say, good talk is as gratifying as a good harvest. Wow. So he's also now comparing to the harvest, okay? And I'm talking about authority in life. So he's comparing now good harvest to good talk or good words. That you see, if somebody enjoys a harvest, all right, because that means plenty of food, enough food, you get satisfied. You know how people get worried because they don't have enough food. And by the way, the world is not supposed to have that lack. It's not supposed to lack food because there's too much food in the world. There's only an equal distribution of resources or the available resources in the world. That's the biggest problem. That is to tell you, if the world has a problem of hunger, no, the world has a problem of love. Because if you know how much blessings, favor, money, riches, food, all things that can make lives enjoyable, then you'll realize it's lack of love. It's lack of love. It's not lack of things. And that's what the world has always suffered from. But, men will interpret it differently, yet what they are suffering is love. So when you look at this, he says, there's also good talk. The good talk, verse 20. The right words bring satisfaction. Because in this version, another version, it says, wise words satisfy look like a good meal. Okay, so he's comparing words to a meal. And then he says, the right words bring satisfaction, of course, than harvest. Why is he insisting on words? Yes, because if you're gonna dominate, you have to be a man and a woman who understands the power of what influences your mind. You have to understand what you have received and what you receive in your mind can do as far as your authority here on the world is concerned. If you do not eat the right food, you are in trouble. You can do anything because you're gonna die of hunger. But if you do not feed yourself with the right word, you can never walk in authority. I said it and I repeat again. Authority begins with you. What have you received in your mind? What have you received in your soul? What is the mindset you have? What's the belief, the perception? That's what he's talking about. It will determine whether you walk in authority. That's why he called it satisfaction. You'll be satisfied in life because you'll not be a victim. When you have not eaten, you are a victim of hunger. If you have not received the right mindset, you are going to be a victim in life forever. In fact, you're a victim for everything. Shalom, shalom.